fam, let me do this. I'm going to play this, and this is a little off focus, but this was something that came across my feed. I got this. Hall of Fame running back Eric Dickerson talked about Shedeur Sanders, and I came across like, wow. But he kind of talked about it, and he gave an interesting perspective on the Shedeur Sanders situation. Let me play this for you if you mind, fam.
But about Shedeur Sanders, here's what I think happened. I think people and teams shied away from him just to get away from the noise. I think he became a spectacle, quite frankly. And I don't think the NFL functions that way. They're not about that.
Are you serious? I had to stop it that quick, man. The NFL is a total spectacle. They're not about that, man. Who the hell you think? This the Catholic League? The NFL is all about bright, shining lights and noise. Could knock it off. Get it out of here. Owners getting drunk and every day. All kind of crazy shit happen here. What you talking about? They're not about that. You talking about the same owners that was taking yachts down to the owners' meet? Oh, they're not about the flash and glam. This dude think the NFL is the Catholic League.
That might work in basketball, but it doesn't work in the NFL. And somebody making a lot of noise, coming in, wearing a Rolex when he played, that kind of stuff, I don't think it flies well. And maybe from a Rams perspective.
First of all, man, listen, idiot. Wearing a Rolex and doing this after a dance is not a bad thing. Shedeur Sanders has never been arrested, never broke the law. He's a perfect citizen. And how many flashy ass guys that got drafted that came in the league flashy, talking big with big mouths and a lot of fanfare, that had a lot of stuff going on. They got into the league. I mean, it's a tons of people, especially at the quarterback position. So you can miss me with that bullshit. The NFL is not a Catholic league, man. With a flashy watch. I thought you was going to talk about a criminal report or something. See, this is how the establishment think, by the way. This is the establishment thought process on this kid. Come in here with a flashy watch. Who does he think he is with the flashy watch? That sounds a little jealousy to me. That's why I see all of these cats. That's why I got on that old ass reporter that's up there in Cleveland. And the man, and Shedeur approached the man and kind of joked with him. He handled it the proper way. I was proud of him because the guy don't write nothing. He said, "Brian, what I do to you? What I ever done to you? What is that?" And Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted ahead of him, is way worse. He can't even complete a pass, look like absolute garbage out there. And then he got the nerve to try to throw shots and talk about that. Some bitch throwing dirt balls. It's just amazing. That's why you got to do some straightening. I believe in straightening.
If they looked at it and said, we don't need this headache. I mean, I don't care how good he is. How good could he be given the noise he's making?
Well, what noise? We don't care how good he is. We talking about the Cleveland Browns, man. They don't. You need something up there. Deshaun Watson is awful, and they're talking about, and that's the hypocrisy of this thing. They're talking about we don't need a guy with all that kind of stuff, but you got a guy they paid $200 million from after he was hung up on charges of having sex with massage people who sued him. Oh, all of a sudden you turn into the holy pope. You got a guy up there with two. Let me say this again, because it don't make any sense. You people, this is not even my effing team, and I know better than this. Deshaun Watson was caught up and had Busby got a hold to him, and he got that contract. He had to pay all them people off, and that failed miserably since he got that paper. But all of a sudden, a fancy watch. You talk about a fancy watch, and the kid doesn't have a criminal record. He played 50-something games in college, and he won everywhere he went. So I don't understand what the bullshit is about dealing with your shit. It's not even my team, man. It just annoys me with this bullshit and these fake takes on, and not even paying attention to their own blasted history of what's happening. So you're going to overlook Watson sitting up there? And the guy does this with his watch, and you're doing this with the watch. Well, we don't need that fancy watch up here. You chickens. Shit, people crazy.
I disagree with that. If you're good, they'll make exceptions. And
right.
I mean, he's not on his dad's level. If it was his dad, there'd be a lot of noise coming in. A lot of noise. Rolex, gold,
right. Everything,
dancing, everything.
Come on.
But his dad was a different kind of athlete. I just feel like, and I'll tell you this much here, what I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of it. And this came from a very good source. And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
really?
him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't gonna draft him out.
Okay, hold on. That's Eric Dickerson. Let me play that again for you. And see, hold on, let me back this up a little bit. This is Eric Dickerson, Hall of Fame running back one of the greatest backs of all time, Eric Dickerson, telling you somebody called him and told him what they was going to do. That's collusion. But there was no investigation to determine why that happened. But everybody that got eyes to see know what time it is. We knew what time it is. Oh, it wasn't it. They didn't do that. Man, shut your dumb ass up. It's collusion happening. It don't make any sense. It had nothing to do with no fancy watch, and the man don't even have a criminal record. And he's won everywhere he goes. Get out of here.
Example out of him. That was a different kind of. I disagree with that. If you're good, you know they'll make exceptions.
Exactly.
You know that.
Johnny
He's not on his dad's level. If it was his dad made a lot of noise coming in. A lot of noise. Rolex, gold,
Dion,
dancing, everything. I mean, but his dad was a different kind of athlete. You know, I just feel like, and I'll tell you this much here: what I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source. And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
Really?
him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him. They were forced into drafting him because somebody made a call to them, said, you know, and I say, when I say this is a NFL side source for sure, you know, so this is not here. So look, one thing about it is, and I'll just say it, you know, they don't like when guys have brands, especially black players, you know, and that's mostly us with the brand, you know, some guys are flashy and all that kind of stuff. They don't like that. This kid, Fred, I don't think you knew this. He had already made $17 million from a car deal that he already signed. A car deal. He had $17 million already for that. Then he had another 14, I think, from a was it Nike or some shoe deal. He was good with money wise, but I know he wants to play in the National Football League for sure.
So how does he do that? I mean, Cleveland picked him. I find it fascinating, Eric. You're saying somebody even called the Browns and said, don't do that.
Yeah, somebody called the Browns.
Really? The guy doesn't have a brain in his head, doesn't even understand what the man's saying. He playing games. Nobody that daft. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It don't make any sense. It flies in the face of reason and logic for that to even have happened. It's very easy to decipher what happened there. And you got these people that's old ass bastards sitting up there. Really? Well, I'm just blown away about that accusation. You're saying there was somebody in the league told you that, Eric? My goodness. Oh my goody. Oh my golly gunwash. That's unbelievable. That's bullshit, man. Stop playing. Eric Dickerson sit up there calm and cool and collected and telling you, hey man, listen. Eric Dickerson said it's a black thing. They don't like it a certain way. They don't like because there's jealousy involved. That's why we need straightening for shit like that, man. And for people that think like that, I want to run you through because you don't deserve to be where you is if you think like that. Because it should be shown by, it don't matter about that. It's about his performance and about how he operates on that field. It got nothing to do with them hating on his father because the guy performing gave you plenty of tape. The nerve of these people, absolutely crazy.
So what was the objective? He doesn't get picked. He's an undrafted free agent.
That's exactly what's going to happen. They were going to have him. He was not going to get drafted to basically show you this is what happens when you do this.
It's called a humiliation ritual. Look it up. That's what they do. That in certain groups, when they operate with control, it's called a humiliation ritual. Certain people go through that when they buck the system. The same system that put bread in their mouth when they think that they get too big for it, they operate in what's called a humiliation ritual. This is what's going on. People who know.
I mean, look, Big Fred, the NFL got all kind of power. They do all kind of stuff.
Right.
You know that, and I know it too. But no, they were.
Fred don't know. He's sitting up there playing games.
Not going to draft him. And like I said, when I said it came from a good source, it came from a very, very good source. They weren't going to draft him. I like because when I saw it when he went to the second one, I said, oh. I said it out loud. They're not going to draft him. They're going to make an example out of him. I knew it. So the guy that they drafted, the quarterback they drafted ahead of him, he wasn't as good as Shedeur.
Exactly.
He even said it.
Right.
I mean, how do you draft a guy that you know that's not better than the guy that you drafted after? That don't even make sense.
Nope.
Do you think Shedeur knew they wanted to make an example out of him?
I don't think he realized to the extent that the NFL would go to make an example out of him. No, I don't think